In this video, I'll be dedicating 7 days to learning how to make Brawlhalla edits entirely from scratch. And for an extra twist, I won't be using After Effects, I'll be using Blender, an application for 3D art and modeling, and not for clip editing. I'm also holding a server giveaway. Everyone who joins the Discord server in the description will get a free Brawlhalla code. Alright, into the video. On day 1, I booted up Blender wondering how I could make something like this work. Essentially, I had to create a workflow that mimicked what Adobe After Effects could do, except entirely in a 3D environment, meaning I had to create almost every system from scratch. Vanilla Blender doesn't even have like an inbuilt way to slow down or speed up things like dynamically, so I came up with like a workaround on that day. I imported my clip, I keyframed the frame date of the clip to the location of an invisible object within the scene, and I used that keyframe graph as if it was like the time remap graph, and it actually worked very well, like way better than I thought, and it gave me a lot of hope for this project. So by that point, I haven't asked anyone on how to like edit Brawlhalla, but this was like the starting point of when I had this like entire idea. This was before I even like fully dedicate like just 7 days. This is just me trying to see what was possible. On day 2, I took a different approach. I consulted the BEC, the Brawlhalla Editing Collective, and they were brutally honest on what was wrong with my edit. It was barely an edit, it was kind of rough on the edges, but yeah. This was a wake-up call to just how much of a skill ceiling there like truly was in the Brawlhalla editing community, because there was names like Illac, Phazon, Pukilu, and Pukilu ruled above them all. I think she owned the Discord. She's been there for a very long time, but all of them, they prioritize like careful graphing and impact in their stuff. And after I saw this, I would wonder if it was even possible to do what they were doing. So, especially with the challenge I set for myself to only use Blender. So I chose to like improve my workflow to at least like be able to compete on the level of these like After Effects users, and by this point I had created a node system to replace AE's green screen functions, as well as like some of After Effects like primitive effects, like all entirely node based though. So it's eventually this project file would become so complex that I ended up using it as like a baseline for all my future Brawlhalla edits. So to make sure that I could keep expanding the system without being hindered, without being like outed, I guess, because I was using Blender, I chose to tell others that I was like using After Effects whenever like someone would ask what editing software I'm using, to actually see if I could get away with just using Blender and not saying anything. So yeah, that was basically day 2. A few weeks later, there was like an editing contest, like a Kung Fu editing contest. And if you don't know, Kung Fu is like a mode in Brawlhalla. It's one of the modes, and in this editing contest, we only could edit Kung Fu gameplay, which is considerably like harder to edit than regular gameplay because there's 2 focus points: the ball and the person involved. And we only got 2 hours to finish the edit. This edit is absolutely horrendous because I only put 2 hours in it. But yeah, I feel like I fumbled hard at making this. Like, looking back on this is absolutely horrendous, but I somehow ended up receiving 100% of the prize money because the actual winner, was the one who made the contest. And everyone else who made their edits, they weren't like proper edits, or they were too short. So I really got like really lucky. So, and this gave me like the encouragement I needed to continue working on it. So this is basically what it is. On day 4, now that I had like put all the pieces together in this, in my general like workflow and how I would kind of go about doing this, I chose to like hone down on getting a sense of graphing and like impact within my edits. So I noticed the like best edits, like they blend together PC impact. By PC I mean pan and cropping, impact and flow in the best ways. So I tried finding ways to replicate all that in Blender, and I found some good success. But this is all I have to show for that process here. As you can see, it's kind of you'll see. The snippet is kind of short, but it's where I started to understand how panning and cropping and like sync are supposed to like coincide with each other, and I realized I need to start picking better like songs as well. So on the next day, I participated in my first group montage with Seabass, Salad, OTY Darkness, and Topaz. And after having my workflow somewhat complete, I ended up creating this in like 2 hours, and I called this a day. There's definitely a strong improvement over anything I had made prior, so I was still pretty happy with it, even though it was a bit cluttered at that point. Sometime later, I chose to work on a completely different project. This project was like a tezca montage, and I found myself with a ton of tezca clips. You can see them like near the beginning of my channel. I only posted tezca clips for my rank series, and I wanted to like make an edit out of it. So this is like same self-promotion. You should like definitely watch my rank series. But for this one, for this like edit, I promised myself I would focus more on fundamentals like the sync, panning, cropping, like the impact. And although I never really finished this edit, I'm happy to show like the improvement here. This edit was like one of the first edits that have been like received positively as well by like the BEC community, at least the first half. So I was pretty satisfied. If you want to see me like do more of these in the future, or you want to adapt this kind of like style or workflow of editing in the future, I've also attached I've written a complete document on the entire process, and I've fully completed the project file for this. It has like all the node-based systems I've made, and as well it's already like pre-compiled so that Blender is able to actually run all of this like smoothly. So if you somehow understand Blender like already, and you somehow like are interested in Brawlhalla editing, give it a go. It's like interesting. I wouldn't recommend this over After Effects, but yeah, you can access this by just using a command on my Discord, and it'll give you everything you need to get started. Alright, this is the True Trident signing out.
Till I feel up, yeah, these niggas so snot. Only green on me, my meter. Always hit your fuck up. Yo, what's up, son? You gon' feed it. They say, okay, oh, you step up from my dealer. Jab on your big back. I don't think you'll ever heal it. Don't give it a set on. You run here front of begging. Niggas just get hard, try to harder like they living. In my past life, I had died. Run out, bitch, I'm still living. Like a pint of rock. So, yeah, bro, we split them.